write address and how to, how to play, and not to be too much background, not to be too much solo, how to, make it together to work nice, like on some simple standard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Something like, how are you making solo performance? In some way.
Yeah, okay. Well, there's many approaches. I think. Turn up a little bit here. I think one of the first things that's really important is to actually know the song. And you'd be surprised at how many people ask that question and they don't really get that part of it. I mean, I'm not saying you. I'm saying, there's a lot of cats who are like, how do you do that? How do you do that? But then I can tell that they don't really know the song. So that's the first thing, is really knowing the song. And what do I mean by knowing the song? I mean being able to play it anywhere. Being able to, not have to think about what the next chord is, because you just know it. So that's the first thing. And how do you go about that? How do I go about that? Okay, if I have a new song in front of me in the real book that I don't know, first you just take a look and you try to play the melody with chords. Just very simple. You have to figure out one way to play it first. So, just try to. Try to play it, and then you start improvising on it. So, for example, if I say to you E flat minor 7 to A flat 7 to D major, D flat major, 2 5 1, everybody's got their own sort of relationship to that, and You know, so for me, it's got different things to it, you know. That I can use using the substitute dominance and things like that. But basically, my process, without getting ahead of myself, my process is like you learn the song one way, and then you start to see little things that you can add on each time you play it. Little things, you get more comfortable. You know, it's like eating a meal. You know, you take a bite, you chew it, you digest it, and you're ready for another bite. You know, so like the first bite is like just figuring out how to play the melody and keep the song together, you know, for the whole song. Then you go back and you get comfortable with that, and then you maybe see little things that you can add onto your way of playing it, and then maybe, you know, instead of playing the melody here, you might play it here. And then you figure out a way to play it there. Second step, you know, like you figure out a way to play the melody here, figure out a way to play the melody there, and then the whole time sort of keep the song going, and little by little you start to get more comfortable with it, you start to learn it, then, you know, then you can put the music away, and then you have memorized it, and you can start to improvise on it. And, you know, one of the things that I like to do is to just do something very basic, which is dealing with the root, the third, fifth, and seventh of a chord, of each chord. You know, so for the first chord on Body and Soul, you have E flat minor 7. You know, so I'll play like. I'll think about just 1, 3, 5, and 7. And I'll split that up into 2 parts. I'll split it up into root and 7th, and 5th and 3rd. That's the whole chord. That's 1, 3, 5, 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. And so I'll say just root and 7th. So I'll play the root and 7th of every chord with the melody. So I'll play. And this is B flat 7, so that's root and 7th. Then you can involve the, you know, that's just root and 7th, and this is 5th and 3rd. So if you use the 5th and 3rd, you have something like this. in a fundamental way that, because a lot of people start to try to talk about tensions and upper structures and all that kind of stuff, but what I'm saying is like, just deal with the root, third, fifth, and seventh of all the chords, and then maybe introduce the substitute dominant, you know, so that if you have a B flat 7, you can use an E7, you know, and then you can use the root and the 7 and the fifth and the third of the E7, you know, so that you have 4 possibilities with every dominant. If you have B flat 7, you have root and 7th, 5th and 3rd for the B flat 7. And then you have the E7, root and 7th, 5th and 3rd. So for that one chord, B flat 7, you have 4 possibilities that you can use. You know? And this is just sort of like the foundation of, you know, what you asked about with solo playing, you know. So I'll take, if I just take, you know, these 2 notes for the first chord, the root and 7th, and then I take, then I have a, you know, then I can play a melody on top of that, whatever it is, you know. I was kind of branching out a little bit with what I was playing, but basically it was based on that very foundational thing of using the root in the 7th and the 5th and the 3rd of every chord, you know. So you can just go through the tune like this, like root in 7th, 5th and 3rd, 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 root in 7th, 5th and 3rd. And that gives you a really good, strong foundation of the harmonic progression of the tune. Then you start introducing the substitute dominants: A flat, D7, D flat, G7, G flat, C7, F minor, E diminished, E flat minor, D flat minor, C half diminished, F7, B7, A7, E flat 7, D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G minor, C7, F sharp, E7, E minor, A7, to D major, and then 3, 6, 2, 5, D minor, G7, D flat, C major, E flat diminished, D minor, D flat 7, G7, C7, B7, E flat 7, E7, E flat. And you have those, different areas of the neck where you can do like that's that's E flat minor to A flat 7, but you can also go E flat minor to A flat 7. So you have it there and you have it here. So and that's the D7. And that's all just using just the basic chord and using substitute dominant on the dominant chords. That's it. Yeah. And then already gives you huge possibilities for voice leading and making the song, and also, since it's only 2 notes, you have other fingers available to make melodies on top of that, and then you get these, So that's one approach to practicing solo playing. One of the reasons why I really like that is because it's very basic, and yet it can give you a very strong and open kind of sound, even though it's just root and 7th and 5th and 3rd of every chord, and then using the substitute dominants on the dominant chords. Gives you a lot of possibilities. Then, of course, if you start to add, like other ways of playing those changes, then you start to add like actual voicings of chords with tensions. This is, if you think of E flat minor 7, then you have, everybody has their own sort of repertoire of voicings for that chord. If I say to each one of you, okay, E flat minor 7, you know, what do you got? And then you'll say, okay, well I can play it here, or I can play it there, or I can play it there, or there. Just go through all of your different sounds. So if I think of like, that's thinking like very vertically, you know, if you think like each chord, you have all your voicings. So you have like E flat minor 7, you have all this stuff, then B flat 7, then it's a matter of like, you know, putting them all together in a horizontal way, so then you can have, you know, E flat minor to B flat 7. You know, that's a couple voicings for E flat minor, a couple voicings for B flat 7, back to E flat minor. And then it's a matter of just making connections with your ear, you know, what's your melody, you know. So there's, you know, then that's another sort of approach that you can use in your playing, you know. So kind of like I have all these different, and you can develop all these different like ways of approaching how to play solo or how to play a song, you know. And then at the end, you have them all mixed up together, and then that's, you know, that's a way that then you have your whole balanced approach. Yeah. Can you say that again? Solo playing for saxophone. My advice for that would be to ask Mark Turner. No, that's a good joke. But actually, it's good advice. Probably the best, #1 advice. But I think just there's. I think what I hear horn players doing when they're playing solo is, and I think this is true for everyone, is if you're playing a song or if you're playing just a free improvisation, I think the first thing that we want to be able to control is the context, the harmonic context, you know, so making the chord ring, you know, making, or we might say like, making the harmony live. You know, that's one way to put it, like, taking care of the harmony. And you can sort of think in your mind, you know, like, I mean, it might be just a basic thing like, okay, you want to play a melody on a song, and you're playing alone. Well, you might be playing your melody, but then you might notice that it doesn't really have context, harmonic context, because all melodies exist in a harmonic context, you know, and this is just something that you hear, you know, if I play like, I'm hearing body and soul in my head, but I realize that, you know, I'm not hearing any context from what I'm actually playing. So there's that relationship, you know, you gotta be like, harmony, but my real melody is just that. You know, but so it's sort of like you can have in your head, this is the melody, and then I got to do everything that I have to do in order to provide the melody with support, harmonic support. So I think that's like that's one thing that horn players develop, and guitar players, everybody develops a sense of what you have to do to provide context for a melody.